See, in the world where, obviously we're chasing aesthetics, we're chasing making sure that we look good, all of that, the mind is one of those things where if you can train it the same way that you train your body, you'll get a 10x return on your life. See, I know a lot of the times I say getting jacked, but it's really getting multidimensionally jacked, especially mentally jacked is very important. So you have to train your mind the same way that you train your body. So we're going to break down the frameworks of what that even looks like. What does it look like to train your mind compared to training your body? It's very, very similar. So for example, you go to the gym, right? First thing you do is you warm up, right? You warm up your body, you get the blood flowing, you get everything moving. It's the same way with the mind. When you first get up, what do? Well, what I do is I meditate, right? Meditation helps you at least warm up your mind, open up your mind so that you're able to dissect information better. It allows for you to distill your thoughts and allow for the functions of your brain to start moving. That's the warm-up phase. Then you get into the actual training phase, right? What do most people do when they train? The best thing to do when you train is to compound lift, right? To do a lot of the hard exercises first. And that's what most people don't do. They don't go into their day-to-day and they do the hard exercises in their life when it comes to their mental fortitude. So what does that mean? Do the things that you hate the most in the morning. Do the things that make you mentally just in pain in the morning. Things that seem boring, things that seem like you don't want to do. They call it eat the frog. You got to eat the frog, right? So that's what you have to do when you're training your mind. You have to be able to go in there and start to do the compound exercises for your mind that make it malleable and make it stronger. Journaling is really important as well, right? Journaling is a good compound exercise to do because what happens is journaling allows for you to recruit a lot of the thoughts in your mind and be able to put it down on paper so you can communicate better and you can actually understand how your mind works, right? It's almost like a workout plan that you're creating. Right? And that's another thing, a workout plan. We all go into the gym and it's better to go with a workout plan than to go in and just try to do whatever it is that you want. So you have to basically figure out, what does it look like? What does my day-to-day look like? What kind of thing am I going to do when it comes to after I eat or after I journal, after I do this? What time am I going to do this? How long is it going to take for me to do this, right? How long should it take? Start to time yourself in different things that you do. Again, you're training your mind using principles of the gym. Right? And in the gym, we have this thing called progressive overload when you're training, which means that you're increasing the weight as you go. See, a lot of the reasons why men are mentally weak right now is because they don't progressively overload on thought exercises. They don't progressively overload on the knowledge that they learn. So what do you need to do as a man to be able to do that? Well, you have to start progressively overloading on the information that you're learning, right? So maybe you learn a core piece of information, you learn a skill, right? How do you progressively overload with that? Well, you apply the skill to a certain aspect to either make more money, right? Or you stack that skill. So let's say you learned marketing, we'll stack that skill with sales, right? So it's skill stacking. That's how a lot of people make money nowadays. A lot of these younger guys who are making a lot of money, they're able to stack their skills to where they can use those skills as a bundle to make more money. It's compound exercises, right? Same with the journaling. You journal a lot, but reading over that journal every single day and looking over how you thought before, that is a compound exercise because you're taking, or not compound, that's progressive overload, right? So progressive overloading is essentially just adding more to the plate and making things just slightly harder for you in terms of application. Most people don't do this. Most people, they learn the basics of something and they don't go and they don't apply it and make it harder for themselves to expand their mind. So you have to understand that, right? And it's the same when you're going to the gym when they talk about time under tension, right? Time under tension equates to deep work. Deep work, you can spend 4 to 5 hours of going extremely detailed and deep into one topic or one task and get a lot done for that time versus trying to juggle a bunch of tasks at once. It's the same when you go to the gym. You see those guys who literally go into every single exercise and they're just going fast. They don't actually concentrate on the exercise. They don't have that mind-muscle connection. It's the same in real life. In real life, you have to have that mind-muscle connection. You have to be able to dive deep into a specific task that you need to get done for a certain period of time and exercise your mind, reduce the amount of dopamine that you're looking for, apply a long-term strategy, and you're going to achieve more by going through that deep work process, which equates to the time under tension rule when it comes to the gym, right? And then when you talk about the gym, we always say, well, the gym is 20% training, 80% nutrition when it comes to fitness overall, right? It's the same with the mind. All of the things that I just told you is 20% of it. The 80% is what do you feed your mind? The same way as what do you feed your body? Are you feeding your body a lot of junk food? Are you feeding your body a lot of artificial ingredients, processed food that basically crowd or cloud the way that you progress? They keep you from progressing. It's the same with your mind. What are you feeding your mind? What information are you feeding your mind? Are you watching videos like this? Are you watching other creators that are giving you information that's going to help you compound your life, right? Be able to progressively overload within your life, giving you new things to think about, new perspectives to think about. You have to be able to understand this. What are you digesting? Are you digesting the same information that everyone else is learning when you could be learning something completely new in a different space that may challenge your worldviews? See, you guys know this. I'm very unapologetic. I will challenge your worldviews. I will go against a lot of the status quo. Why? Because I want to train your brain to be able to expand and have all of the macro and micronutrients needed to develop, right? It's one thing for me to sit here and say, oh yeah, work hard, train hard, but if I'm not talking about things in this manner, you're not going to expand your mind, right? So that's why it's important for you to understand, well, what is my mental diet? What am I consuming? When I scroll through TikTok, what am I watching? Am I watching people just pop balloons all day? Am I watching people gossip? Am I watching a lot of these podcasts that really don't do anything for me? Am I watching a lot of these podcasts that talk about women and doing all these things that don't apply to my life? That's junk food, right? Dopamine receptors are being fried during that time, right? The biggest thing you have to understand is when I get to this point, how can I consume a healthy amount of information so that my mind can be stronger than it was before? That's what you have to understand, your mental diet, the macros that you consume, right? Carbohydrates, fats, right? Proteins. It's the same with the mind. What are you consuming? Educational content. What kind of educational content, right? Are you consuming content when it comes to teaching you specific skill sets that you need to learn or specific frameworks that you can use? Also, right, when it comes to educational, then we think about inspirational, right? What kind of content is inspiring you to be better? Maybe it's watching a movie of a specific figure that you want to watch that's going to help you be inspired to live your life as the main character, right? Again, it's the same with entertainment, right? Entertainment can be positive in a certain way. What are you watching that puts you in a good mood, that keeps your frequency at a high level? Education, entertainment, and inspiration. Those are the three macronutrients for your brain. Micronutrients are going to be the little skills that you learn. Maybe it's video editing. Maybe it's learning how to trade. Maybe it's learning how to sell. All of these micronutrients within that macro framework is going to give you a stronger mind, right? Same when we talk about caloric deficit versus caloric surplus. When it comes to a diet, if you want to build more muscle, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So you need to have a surplus of information regularly, overloading your brain so that you can start to become malleable. Go read books that nobody else is reading, right? Go read the books that nobody else is reading. Not Atomic Habits, not Think and Grow Rich, right? Go read the brothers of Karamazov, I believe the name is. Go read these philosophical books. Go read the Bible. Go read the Quran. Go read these books that will allow for you to be in a caloric surplus mentally, because they're going to challenge you. They're going to be a level up. It's the same way you want to be able to be in a caloric deficit to a certain extent, right? They call it digital detoxing. If it's something where your mind is too crowded and you're overloaded on a lot of these dopamine rushes that you get from going through content, reduce the amount of content that you watch, right? Maybe cut down your screen time a little bit. That's going to help you cut the fat out of your brain. Most of us, we live and our brains are overly fat, right? Our brains aren't fit. Our brains are fat. So how do you reduce it? See, we live in a time, I like to call it, it's a time period of mental obesity. It's very interesting to think about mental obesity. Mental obesity is basically you consuming so much pointless, mindless information, the same way that a fat person is going to eat a lot of artificial foods, a lot of junk foods that have empty calories, and we wonder why our minds are bloated. We wonder why we're not strong mentally. We wonder why we're not lean mentally. We don't think clear. We don't think clear because, one, we're not consuming the right information. Two, we're not cutting out information that is junk. Right? So you want to be able to make sure that you're either in a caloric surplus when it comes to mentally, or information surplus, information deficit. Right? Those are the main things. 80% of your brain power is going to be the informational diet that comes into your brain. And you have to be able to regulate that. You have to be able to structure it in a proper way. like I said, the parallels of training and mindset, it's all similar. Most gym bros can't do this because they just think of everything from the perspective of I need to get as big as possible. I need to flex. I need to be in the mirror. I need to post that selfie. I think of the gym as how can I take the gym and make it a parallel to every other aspect of my life? Right? And that's how you have to start training. If you don't train right now in the gym, you're missing out on a lot of these lessons that can help you with your mindset. They can help you with your life. They can help you with your relationships. All of these parallels I'm tying together is because I understand the principles of training and how that applies to my life. And you need to start understanding that as well. Right? And it's the same. Again, when it comes to mental clarity, you need to be able to cut out the fat. You have to be able to cut it down. Under 15% body fat when it comes to your brain. Right? You don't want to be over 15% body fat when it comes to your brain. What does that look like? Again, you have to cut out a lot of the BS that people are pushing online, a lot of the information that has zero substance, that is not improving the way that you live, that is not improving the mechanisms to which you go about life. That's the big lesson here, right? Get on a mental diet. Start training mentally, right? Start exercising skill sets. Start to do compound lifts. When it comes to your skill sets, start to compound lifts. All that is just stacking skills together, right? Because in a compound lift, you're recruiting multiple muscle groups. It's the same with your mind. You're recruiting multiple skill sets together to form one big skill set that's going to transform your mental strength and fortitude, right? Diet, the same thing. Track your calories. Track what you are consuming, right? Make sure that you're reducing the consumption of junk food and increasing the consumption of high macro rich foods, right? Foods that are nutrient dense. Consume information that is nutrient dense, right? That go into details, that actually teach you something new. These are the aspects of the mental strength framework that you need to be able to develop a mind that is unbreakable, right? And discipline. You have to be able to acquire this framework of the gym and bring it into the framework of your mind to be able to develop yourself. All right, this is a quick little spiel because I'm telling you right now, if you can learn this, if you can internalize this, if you can build your mind in a way that you become unbreakable, it is almost impossible that you're going to lose. Most people, they lose to their mind. They don't lose to anything else. You're not making as much money as you want to make because your mind is weak. You're not making as much money that you want to make because your mind is fat. Right? Your mind is a liability. It's not an asset. I talk about this all the time. Is your body an asset or is it a liability? Your mind needs to be an asset. It should not be a liability. And being fat is a liability. Being in shape, being jacked is an asset to your life. It literally amplifies your life. Same with your mind. Being mentally fat is literally like a liability, right? Because now you can't think clear. Now you're making bad decisions. Now you're not actually becoming the best version of yourself. Being mentally fit, being mentally jacked is an asset because you can use your mind to create businesses. You can use your mind to speak to people and develop relationships. You can use your mind to break out of the mediocrity that exists today within men specifically. All right. So take this, internalize it, rewatch this if you need to, take notes if you need to. Right? And if you want to build the foundation of your physical strength, link will be in the description. Tap in with me. We can help you build the best physique and utilize that to be able to amplify all areas of your life. But again, it starts with you. So I appreciate you and I'll catch you on the next video.